And Liv Morgan's shoulder injury changes everything. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen, but I am. Ew. Liv Morgan's shoulder injury changes everything. I gotta prepare for these things. But big news coming out of Monday Night Raw. Liv Morgan injures herself. And let's get to the Monday Night Raw report because it was a good show with something happening that changed everything. We had Liv Morgan coming down to the ring to talk about her beating up Nikki Bella last week. This was one of my favorite episodes because I like watching Nikki Bella get hers. Anyway, she comes out and welcomes the crowd to Monday Night Morgan. She's there with Dirty Dominic Mysterio, and she asked the crowd, make some noise for the most gorgeous man in WWE, Stevie Toronto. No, I'm just kidding, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. The crowd boos. Dom shows off. He tries to talk, but the crowd boos him out. But when he does, he says, "It's not about me, it's all about Liv." And so Liv basically, I think they showed a video of Liv beating up Nikki Bella from last week. And now Nikki Bella says she's at home watching Liv Morgan on television. And so now Liv says that she never got a rematch for the women's title. And she wants a rematch. She wants a title match against Io Sky. And she says, some people have said that Io Sky saying that the Bellas paved the way. But Liv Morgan says, nobody paved the way for me, especially Nikki Bella. She says she paved her own way. And Io comes out, and there's a confrontation between Io Sky and Liv Morgan. Liv basically, I think Io got the upper hand in this confrontation. And she even kicked Dirty Dom in the head and got them both out of the ring. But there wasn't a match between these two later on. So then we have some backstage segment with some of the wrestlers. There's going to be a fatal four-way in the main event. Sheamus taking on Rusev, Big Bronson Reed, and Jey Uso in the fatal four-way for the King of the Ring tournament. We get Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez after the commercial break. There's a segment there between these two. And then about 12 minutes into the show, there's the Queen of the Ring qualifying match, first round, Stephanie Vecker versus Ivy Nile versus Raquel Rodriguez versus a returning Asuka. And Asuka has a new look, still kind of dances to the ring and the likes, but she's got a new sort of darker look. Chad Gable comes out and cuts a promo introducing Ivy Nile. The announcers say that this is Asuka's first match since May 4th, 2004 at WWE Backlash in France. And so she's been out for well over a year. Great fatal four-way. Asuka had some big moves. Tried to hit the Asuka lock. Stephanie Vecker tried to hit her move, the SVB. And Ivy Nile had some good moves as well. Raquel hit the Tiana bomb, and it looked like she was going to win the match, but Rhea Ripley came out and interfered in the match, but it's a fatal four-way, no disqualifications. So Rhea Ripley hit the riptide on Raquel to take her out on the ring floor, and Asuka came back and qualified. She got the win. So Asuka hit a move called the Empress Impact, which was this basically, I know Goldust used to use this move. He'd throw his opponent into the ring, turn around, and hit the opponent in the face with his rear end. I think Naomi does the same thing with the rear view, and now Asuka's doing the same thing. She just basically turned around, uh, hit hit somebody in the face with her rear end. I think it was Rodriguez. Hit, hit Raquel in the face with her butt and pinned her. Afterwards, everyone's favorite backstage interviewer and mine, Kathy Kelly, interviewed Asuka to talk about her win, but Asuka just cut her basic promo. She can speak normal English, and I was kind of hoping that Asuka would speak normal English because she's perfectly fluent in the language, but they still have her doing the gimmick. Um, anyway, we get a video package of Gunther winning the world title. A backstage segment, Gunther's walking around, coming back from the commercial break. We get a Judgment Day Clubhouse segment. You got Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Dirty Dom, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel coming in. But Raquel didn't win the belt or didn't win the Fatal 4-Way, and Liv Morgan's kind of pissed off at her. Um, so we get Gunther coming, and he comes down to the ring, celebrating his win, getting the title back, second reign as world champion. And he admits, Jey Uso, you were the better man at WrestleMania for one night. On every night, I am untouchable. So, and so he says, I've heard the chatter about what's next for me. And that's when the music hits and Bill Goldberg comes down to the ring. He's coming down. And I think Goldberg is just a little bit smaller than Gunther, but he's got more muscle than Gunther. But the crowd is really into Bill Goldberg. He's like 58 years old. He's kind of like getting up there in age. Kind of reminds me of Sting, only Sting was in better shape and had a better finale probably. But basically, Bill Goldberg is there to say, remind him of July the 12th, Saturday night's main event, because he reminds him something happened in Atlanta with Gunther concerning his family, and you don't mess with Goldberg's family. So he says, I'm gonna make sure this ends in Atlanta, Georgia, July 12th, Saturday night's main event. You're mine because you're next. Really not looking forward to this. Hopefully, this is Goldberg's finale, his retirement match. And I certainly hope Gunther retains the title. I simply cannot see them putting the belt on Goldberg as he retires. I think that would be bad. He should go out on his back and put Gunther over. Coming back from the commercial break, JD McDonough takes on AJ Styles. And what I liked about this match is, in the past few matches that AJ has been doing, is they're making the Styles Clash a finishing move for AJ again. So AJ hits the Styles Clash on JD and pinned him 1, 2, 3. And this was great. I think Dom tried to interfere in the match, and he got a Pele kick for his troubles. And Styles grabbed the title and defended himself when Finn Balor showed up. So Styles, the three heels tried to jump AJ, but AJ crawled out of the ring, went up the rampway, and basically took the Intercontinental title with him. Backstage segment with Sheamus, and he's with Natty Neidhart and Maxine Dupree. Akira Tozawa walks in, and the news out of this is apparently WWE is looking to make Maxine Dupree and Natty Neidhart a new tag team. I think they want to call them something like the Dungeon Dolls or the Dungeon Damsels or something. Anyway, but it's probably a good idea for Maxine to work with Natty. She could probably improve her in-ring abilities. Backstage segment, we have Bailey walking around, um, coming back from the commercial break. Bailey is in the ring, comes to the ring, talks about um, um, getting attacked by um, uh, Becky Lynch, and she basically calls Becky Lynch down to the ring. Becky Lynch comes down to the ring, and these two have a verbal chat. A lot of talking in this episode of Raw. Not my favorite, especially because basically Bailey and Becky were just kind of yelling at each other. Um, like nobody just talks to each other, but they gotta just yell and scream at each other. Not my favorite. Backstage interview, Kathy Kelly talking to Jay Uso. Um, Another talking segment. We get Nick Aldis Nick Aldis from SmackDown is sort of the Raw authority figure this week. There was no sign of Adam Pearce, and he basically takes the Intercontinental title away from AJ Styles. But he says that AJ is going to have a championship match at Night of Champions. So AJ gets a title match. Now, after this, then came the main news of WWE. Kairi Sane was going to take on Liv Morgan, and I have watched this match over and over again multiple times. So basically, they get in the ring, the bell rings, they're looking at each other, and they run at each other, and Kairi Sane basically took her down. She was trying to do, maybe it was a dragon screw on Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan goes down, and it was her right elbow crashing down on the mat, and she immediately cried out in pain and rolled. She rolled out of the ring immediately, and Kairi Sane was kind of, she just kind of stood there, didn't really know what to do, and they quickly went to a commercial break. The doctors went to ringside to check on Liv Morgan. Even when they came back from the commercial break, the doctor, they were still checking on Liv Morgan. Finally, they just picked her up, and she was able to walk out under her own power, but she was holding her right arm, and the match was over. The announcer basically said that Kairi Sane won because Liv Morgan could not continue. So it certainly looks like, because Liv Morgan was, even though she was not the women's champion, she was factored into a lot of storylines. She and Raquel are the tag team champions. They probably will have to relinquish the titles next week. She was in this storyline with Dominic Mysterio and Roxanne Perez. Probably going to have to do something about that as well. And I believe she was supposed to get a title match against Kairi Sane. Against Io Sky. So that match is off. And who knows how long Liv Morgan is going to be out. I guess it depends on the severity of her injury. But it could be a few weeks. It could be 4 months. Who knows? But that's the big news coming out. We get a recap of the drama between John Cena and CM Punk from last week on Raw and then on SmackDown, and then seeing R-Truth attacking John Cena on SmackDown. Coming back to live action, Michael Cole announces Liv Morgan has suffered a dislocated shoulder. We get a backstage interview. Kathy Kelly is with Sami Zayn. He's talking about how he's going to face Randy Orton on SmackDown in the King of the Ring semifinals. He's approached by Karrion Kross, Mr. Backstage segment himself. They have another chat. Finally, in the arena is the main event. First round match, fatal 4-way for the King of the Ring tournament. Main event: Jey Uso versus Rusev versus Sheamus versus Big Bronson Reed. And this one went in the ring, went out of the ring. You had Rusev hitting his Mosca kick and the accolade. Tried to put out Jey Uso, but Jey Uso did not quit. You had Sheamus hitting brogue kicks. I think at one point Bronson Reed tried to hit the salami splash, but he didn't get it. Instead, Sheamus hit the white noise on Bronson Reed, but couldn't pin him. You had interference by the babyfaces came down. Sami Zayn and Penta came down to spoil Bronson Reed from winning the match. And just when it looked like I think it was Bronson Reed hitting the Death Valley Driver and hitting another salami splash, LA Knight from SmackDown came down to the ring, pushed Bronson Reed off, and allowed Jey Uso to hit a couple of Uso splashes to win the match. So Jey Uso qualifies for the main event, or what qualifies for the semifinal of the King of the Ring tournament, with help from the babyfaces. Oh, and immediately after winning the match, Rollins came down, and Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed were going to attack the babyfaces. And so Jey Uso is going to be taking on Cody Rhodes next week on Raw. And they kind of had a stare down, but then Rollins came down, and the show went off the air with just the baby faces. Now, normally a babyface versus babyface match is pretty dull and boring, but I do expect a lot of interference from the heels. They're going to probably interfere in this match, and we're probably going to get, I would say, I kind of think I want to see Cody Rhodes winning the match. But that was your Monday Night Raw report. I am honestly going to give this one a thumbs down. Way too much talking. I thought there probably should have been more wrestling. But the big news, like I said, was Liv Morgan getting injured. There is some other wrestling news that happened this week. One of them was apparently Mercedes Moné has announced that she is in a relationship with the Beast Mortos. This is a little, this isn't something anyone could have expected, but this is apparently what's happening. She has confirmed it. Confirms she's officially in a relationship with the Beast Mortos. I guess who knows what this guy looks like when his mask is off. So this is apparently what's happening. The coach, Jonathan Coachman, is saying that Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, rumored to be signing with the WWE. Now, some people may be aware that Britt Baker did, in fact, have a squash match against Nia Jax a long time ago. I've actually seen this match, so she could be coming back to the WWE. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll see about that. There was WWE SmackDown could be going back to 2 hours as early as August. Well, we'll see about that one too. I think it would be better if if this was in fact back to a 2-hour show. I'd like to see Raw back to 2 hours. So we'll see how that one goes as well. But those are the major news coming out. I don't think there's anything else. So I will end it here. Monday Night Raw next week. Like I said, I think it's Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso. in the King of the Ring semifinal, with the winner going on to the finals in Saudi Arabia, I think. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, that is your Monday Night Raw report. Jack and Incher. Jack said that Incher was not available this week, so that's why there's no IYH this week. But tune in every Tuesday nights. Hopefully, there's a show next week in your head. Otherwise, tune in to Toronto Stevie Live. I'll have the Raw reports and any wrestling news that comes on the wire. Thank you, and I believe it's time to exit.